Mark Zuckerberg just finished a $270 million compound in Hawaii. It's got 30 bedrooms, 11 tree houses connected by rope bridges, its own power grid, and a 5,000 square foot underground bunker with blast-resistant doors. When asked about it, he called it just a little shelter, like a basement. A basement, 5,000 square feet, with concrete-filled metal doors designed to survive a nuclear blast. Sam Altman, the guy running OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has guns, gold, gas masks from the Israeli Defense Force, antibiotics, and a remote compound in Big Sur he can fly to. Jeff Bezos is building a 10,000-year clock inside a mountain. Peter Thiel bought citizenship in New Zealand and scouted bunker locations before the government blocked his plans. These aren't paranoid survivalists living off the grid. These are some of the richest, most powerful, most informed people on the planet. They're building escape hatches, physical and financial fortresses. And they're doing it quietly. So here's my question. What do they know that we don't? Let me show you exactly what's happening and why it should make you think. Let's start with the most detailed example we have, Mark Zuckerberg's Kauai compound. In 2014, Zuckerberg started buying land on the north shore of Kauai through shell companies. He spent $187 million acquiring 400 acres, a property called Ko'olau Ranch. Then construction started, and workers had to sign NDAs so strict that even mentioning the project on social media was grounds for termination. Wired got a hold of the planning documents and spoke to workers. Here's what they found. The compound will have over a dozen buildings, 2 massive mansions totaling 57,000 square feet, roughly the size of a football field, with 30 bedrooms and 30 bathrooms. There are 11 tree houses linked by rope bridges, a full gym with pools, hot tub, sauna, tennis courts. A 6-foot wall surrounds the property, security guards at every entrance, over 20 surveillance cameras in some buildings, blind doors designed to blend into walls so you don't even know they're there. But the centerpiece? An underground shelter connected to the mansions by a tunnel. The shelter is 5,000 square feet, twice the size of the average American home. It's got a living space, mechanical room, and an escape hatch accessed by ladder. The door is metal filled with concrete, standard for bomb shelters and bunkers designed to withstand blasts. The compound is designed to be self-sustaining. Its own energy supply, its own food production. Zuckerberg's raising cattle and growing macadamia nuts on site. Total cost? Over $270 million when you include land and construction. In December 2024, Bloomberg asked Zuckerberg directly, "Are you building a Doomsday bunker?" His answer, "No, I think that's just like a little shelter. It's like a basement, whatever you want to call it, hurricane shelter, whatever. I think it got blown out of proportion as if the whole ranch was some kind of doomsday bunker," which is just not true. Look, maybe it is just for hurricanes. Kauai County offers tax breaks for building hurricane-resistant safe rooms, and the island does get hit by tropical storms. But let's be real. You don't need 5,000 square feet with blast-resistant doors and an escape hatch for a hurricane shelter. And you definitely don't need your own food and energy supplies for a storm that lasts a few days. Workers who built it told Wired they speculated it was designed for some sort of post-apocalyptic scenario. One even suggested it could be a vast underground city. The project hasn't made Zuckerberg popular with locals. He used shell companies to hide purchases. He sued native Hawaiian families with ancestral land claims to force them to sell or enter bidding wars with one of the richest men on earth. A 6-foot wall now blocks ocean views and breezes that residents used to enjoy. Construction traffic has clogged local roads. Many workers are from outside the island, fueling resentment. Kauai surfer and activist Dustin Barsa put it bluntly, "It's the most low-level, classless move, pushing those families out of there." To be fair, Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan have donated over $20 million to Kauai nonprofits and $626,000 to affordable housing projects. They're not villains, but the optics are rough. Tech billionaire displacing locals to build a fortress. Zuckerberg's compound is just the most documented example. There are others. Bill Gates is rumored to have underground bunkers beneath every one of his properties. Elon Musk's mentioned escape plans, though details are scarce. And then there's the more public stuff. Luxury bunker companies selling to the ultra-rich. But Zuckerberg's fortress is a DIY project for someone with unlimited money. Most billionaires don't have time to design their own compounds, so there's an entire industry that's sprung up to serve them. And business is booming. Let me show you what's for sale. There's a booming luxury bunker industry, and it's not just for ultra-rich. Well, mostly for the ultra-rich. But prices range from $35,000 to $9 million, depending on what you want. Let me walk you through the major players. Developer Larry Hall bought decommissioned Atlas missile silos in Kansas. These are Cold War relics, 15 stories deep, designed to house nuclear missiles. He converted them into luxury condos. Not joking, luxury condos in a missile silo. Each unit has stainless steel appliances, LED lighting, washers, dryers, home automation. The complex has a pool, rock climbing wall, movie theater, dog park, shooting range, library, and even a bar. The walls are 9 feet thick. There's a 161-foot protective dome, military-grade security, air filtration that removes nuclear, biological, and chemical agents, water supply that holds 75,000 gallons minimum. Each unit comes with a 5-year food supply. Price? $1.5 million to $4.5 million per unit, depending on size. The first facility sold out. They're building a second. This one's wild. It's a former Soviet bunker carved into bedrock underneath a 400-foot mountain in Rothenstein, Germany. Built during the Cold War to withstand close-range nuclear blasts, biological agents, chemical weapons, earthquakes, direct airliner crashes, and EMPs. Vivos bought it and is converting it into private luxury apartments for the ultra-wealthy. The facility will accommodate several hundred people and spans 76 acres underground. Each apartment is customizable. You hire your own builder and designer. Typical layouts show 10 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, sitting areas, pool tables, home theaters. But outside the private quarters, there are communal spaces, pools, gyms, bars, restaurants, wine cellars, medical facilities, classrooms, offices, even a detention center. Vivos provides all the staff, chefs, doctors, trainers, security, gardeners. You're also expected to bring something to the table. Vivos vets members for skills valuable in a crisis, medical expertise, security background, survival training. They want a functional community, not just rich people hiding. How do you get there during a disaster? Private jet or helicopter to the local airport, then a Vivos helicopter picks you up and brings you to the site. Price? Reportedly $25 million per family, though exact pricing isn't public. This is the more affordable option, and I use that word loosely. Vivos bought 575 decommissioned military bunkers near the Black Hills of South Dakota. These were Army munitions, storage from the Cold War. They're selling individual bunkers that owners customize themselves. You can go minimalist or high-end with LED screens, simulating windows and skylights, luxury finishes, whatever you want. Cost? $25,000 to $200,000 per bunker, depending on how you outfit it. The facility can house up to 5,000 people when fully built out. It's designed as a community, shared resources, collective skills, mutual aid. Vivos sold out all spaces in 2016 around the presidential election. CEO Robert Ficino said they got a flurry of interest from both liberals and conservatives. Rising S is the custom builder for people who want their own private bunker on their own land. They fabricate everything by hand, 100% steel, customized to specs. You can get a basic shelter starting around $40,000 or a massive luxury complex for millions. Their aristocrat model, top of the line, is basically an underground mansion with multiple bedrooms, full kitchen, theater room, gym, and more. Gary Lynch, their general manager, said 2016 sales grew 700% compared to 2015. After the 2016 election, overall sales jumped 300%. According to market research, the global underground bunker market is growing fast, driven by global uncertainties, geopolitical tensions, and growing awareness of emergency preparedness. Basic bunkers start around $10,000. Luxury bunkers can hit hundreds of thousands or millions. And the market includes both private bunkers, you build on your land, and communal shelters, you buy into a shared facility. And it's not just bunkers, it's the supplies. NBC air filtration systems, nuclear, biological, chemical, water purification, hydroponic gardens, renewable energy, medical supplies, weapons, ammunition. Obviously billionaires, but also high net worth individuals worried about societal collapse. Tech executives concerned about AI risks, investors hedging against economic meltdown families in high-risk geopolitical zones. Reid Hoffman, PayPal co-founder, said 50+% of Silicon Valley billionaires have some kind of escape plan. Often it's buying property in New Zealand, which has become code for I have a doomsday plan. Peter Thiel famously bought New Zealand citizenship before the government tightened rules specifically to prevent more billionaires from doing the same thing. But physical bunkers are only part of the story. Some of the most powerful tech leaders aren't just building shelters, they're stockpiling supplies and making plans that reveal what they actually think is coming. And one person has been remarkably candid about it. Sam Altman is at a party with startup founders. Conversation turns to existential risks, pandemics, AI, societal collapse. Someone asks what he's doing about it. Altman's answer, quoted in The New Yorker, "I try not to think about it too much, but I have guns, gold, potassium iodide, antibiotics, batteries, water, gas masks from the Israeli Defense Force, and a big patch of land in Big Sur I can fly to." Let's break that down. Guns, self-defense, hunting, security gold, hard asset, currency hedge if dollars collapse. Potassium iodide protects against radiation exposure in nuclear incidents. Antibiotics for bacterial infections. When hospitals aren't available, batteries, power when the grid's down, gas masks from the IDF, protection against chemical or biological agents, land in Big Sur, remote California location, away from cities. This isn't a casual hobby. This is a comprehensive survival strategy from someone who thinks deeply about catastrophic risks. Most billionaires don't talk about this stuff publicly. They buy bunkers quietly, hide behind NDAs, deny everything when asked. Altman just said it, out loud, at a party to a reporter. Why? Because he genuinely believes the risks are real. Altman runs OpenAI, the company developing some of the most advanced AI in the world. He's literally building the technology that could, in his own view, pose existential threats to humanity. In that same interview, he said, "My problem is that when my friends get drunk, they talk about the ways the world will end." He mentioned synthetic viruses as a particular concern. After a Dutch lab modified the H5N1 bird flu virus 5 years ago, making it super contagious, the chance of a lethal synthetic virus being released in the next 20 years became, well, non-zero. Non-zero, that's his word, not impossible. Not unlikely, non-zero. Altman also revealed he has an arrangement with Peter Thiel. If things go truly sideways, pandemic, nuclear war, AI catastrophe, they've agreed to fly together to Thiel's property in New Zealand. Thiel's description of Altman is telling. Sam is not particularly religious, but he is culturally very Jewish, an optimist yet a survivalist with a sense that things can always go deeply wrong. Optimist yet survivalist. That's the mindset. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Here's where it gets weird. Altman is also deeply into meditation. He's talked about spending up to an hour concentrating only on his breath, developing what he calls a diminished sense of self. He told a podcast, "One thing I realized through meditation is that there is no self that I can identify with in any way at all. So on one hand, he's achieved some level of spiritual detachment. On the other hand, he's stockpiling guns and gold. The contradiction is fascinating. He's preparing for his physical survival, while philosophically questioning whether there's a self to survive." Sam Altman isn't paranoid. He's not a conspiracy theorist. He's one of the most informed people on Earth about cutting-edge technology and its risks. When he says, "I prep for survival," he's not being dramatic. He's being rational based on what he knows. And that should concern you. Because if the people building the future think the future might be catastrophic enough to require guns, gas masks, and remote hideouts, maybe they know something the rest of us don't. Altman isn't alone. According to multiple reports, 50% plus of tech billionaires have some escape plan. New Zealand has become the preferred destination, stable government, remote, low population density. Bunkers are increasingly common among the ultra-wealthy. Skills-based communities are forming, people with medical, security, engineering expertise. This isn't fringe behavior anymore. It's mainstream among the elite. But here's the question. No one's asking. If half of Silicon Valley is preparing for collapse, are they just being cautious? Or are they actually causing the risks they're preparing for? And what does it mean when the people with the most power to shape the future are simultaneously planning to escape from it? Let me be clear about what I'm not saying. I'm not claiming there's a secret cabal planning societal collapse. I'm not saying billionaires know the exact date of some catastrophe, but I am saying this. The most informed, most wealthy, most powerful people in the world are spending millions on physical fortresses and survival plans, and that tells us something. Based on interviews, writings, and their actions, here are the risks they're hedging against. 1. Pandemic, bioweapon. COVID proved global supply chains are fragile. Synthetic biology is advancing rapidly. Engineered pathogens are getting easier to create. A truly lethal engineered virus could be catastrophic. 2. AI catastrophe. Altman, Musk, and others have warned about AGI, artificial general intelligence, risks. Some scenarios involve AI systems becoming uncontrollable. Even if not killer robots, rapid automation could cause massive unemployment and social unrest. 3. Nuclear war. Ukraine, Taiwan, Middle East. Multiple flashpoints. Tactical nukes are back in military doctrine. Even limited nuclear exchange would collapse supply chains and cause famine. 4. Economic collapse. $36 trillion US debt dollar losing reserve status. BRICS de-dollarization. Banking system fragility, 2008, wasn't fixed, just papered over. Wealth inequality, creating social instability, 5. Climate breakdown. Not distant future, happening now. Food supply disruptions, water scarcity, mass migration, resource wars, failed states, 6. Social collapse, political polarization at historic highs. Trusted institutions, collapsing. Violence becoming normalized, everyone versus everyone scenarios. Here's how billionaires think about this. It's not about predicting collapse. It's about insurance. You don't buy fire insurance because you know your house will burn down. You buy it because if it does, you're covered. For someone worth $100 billion, spending $10–50 million on a bunker and supplies is 0.01 to 0.05% of their net worth. It's nothing. And if even one of these scenarios happens, that bunker becomes the most valuable asset they own. Douglas Rushkoff, author of Survival of the Richest, got invited to speak to a group of ultra-wealthy tech leaders about surviving the event, their term for societal collapse. They asked him questions like, how do I maintain authority over my security force after money is worthless? Should I use biometric locks that only I can open, or will that make me a target? How do I prevent my guards from turning on me? Rushkoff's observation. These people aren't thinking about preventing collapse. They're thinking about surviving it and maintaining control. His conclusion? They were preparing for a digital future that had a great deal less to do with making the world a better place than it did with transcending the human condition altogether and insulating themselves from a very real and present danger of climate change, rising sea levels, mass migrations, global pandemics, nativist panic, and resource depletion. Here's the really uncomfortable part. If you're insulated from the consequences of your decisions, you're more likely to take risks. If tech billionaires know they have bunkers, private security, remote compounds, and escape plans, are they less careful about the technologies they're developing? If you're building AGI and you think it might be catastrophic, but you've got a bunker in New Zealand, are you more willing to take that risk? If you're lobbying against climate regulations, but you own a self-sustaining compound, are you less motivated to prevent climate breakdown? I'm not saying this is definitely happening, but the incentives are worrying. Here's the reality. Most people can't afford a $50 million bunker. Most people don't have private jets to flee to New Zealand. When elites prepare to survive catastrophe without working to prevent it, they're essentially saying, I'll be fine. Good luck to everyone else. It's disaster capitalism taken to its logical extreme. Honestly, maybe? Look at the data. Climate change is accelerating faster than predicted. AI development is outpacing safety research. Geopolitical tensions are the highest since the Cold War. Economic inequality is at record levels. Pandemics are becoming more frequent. These aren't conspiracy theories. These are facts. Billionaires have access to better information, better advisors, better forecasting models than regular people. If they're worried, maybe we should be too. But, and this is critical, they also have the power to do something about these risks. Instead, many are choosing to insulate themselves. Imagine if the resources going into bunkers went into prevention instead. What if Zuckerberg's $270 million went to pandemic prevention research? What if billionaire bunker money funded renewable energy infrastructure, AI safety research, conflict resolution, climate mitigation? What if instead of building escape hatches, they invested in not needing them? But that requires collective action, trust in institutions, and belief that problems can be solved. And increasingly, elites don't have that faith. You're probably not buying a bunker. But here's what matters. 1. Build resilience, not bunkers. Emergency supplies for 2 to 4 weeks. Water, food, medicine, batteries. Skills, first aid, basic repair, gardening. Community networks, neighbors, local groups, financial buffer, savings, diversified assets. 2. Invest in prevention. Support politicians who take existential risks seriously, push for AI safety regulation, demand climate action, strengthen social safety nets. 3. Understand the risks. Don't panic, but don't ignore. The billionaires are telling you something. Preparation isn't paranoia when the risks are real. 4. Reject elite isolationism. We solve problems together or not at all. A few thousand people in bunkers isn't survival of humanity. Demand that those with power use it for collective good, not personal escape. Mark Zuckerberg built a $270 million compound with a blast-resistant underground bunker in Hawaii. Sam Altman has guns, gold, gas masks, and a remote California compound. Half of Silicon Valley billionaires have escape plans. The luxury bunker industry is booming. These aren't random facts. They're a pattern. The people with the most information about where the world is heading are building escape hatches. Not because they're paranoid, because they're informed. And here's what bothers me most. They're not trying to prevent the disasters they're preparing for. They're insulating themselves from the consequences while continuing the behaviors that create the risks. It's the ultimate moral hazard. Build the technologies that might destroy society, get rich doing it, then hide in a bunker when it all falls apart. You don't need a bunker. But you do need to understand that the world's most powerful people think serious disruption is coming. That should inform how you prepare, how you vote, what you demand from leaders, and where you put your money. Because when billionaires are building fortresses, the rest of us need to be building resilience, personal, communal, and systemic. I don't know if civilization is going to collapse, I hope it doesn't. But when the people building the future are simultaneously planning to escape from it, something is deeply broken. Maybe they're overreacting. Maybe they're just indulging in billionaire paranoia with unlimited budgets. Or maybe they know something we don't, and they've decided the smartest move is to save themselves rather than fix the problems they helped create. Either way, the bunkers are real, the preparations are real, and the message is clear. The people at the top aren't confident about what's coming, and they're not planning to go down with the ship. Drop a comment. Do you think they're right to be worried? Would you buy a bunker if you could afford it? Should billionaires be using their resources to prevent disasters instead of escaping them? What are you doing to prepare for an uncertain future? I want real opinions, because this isn't just about bunkers. It's about what kind of future we're building and who gets to survive it. This is education and analysis, not financial or survival advice. I'm not telling you to panic, buy a bunker, or stockpile weapons. I'm not predicting the future. This is based on publicly available information about what billionaires are doing and why it might matter. Make your own informed decisions. Talk to professionals. Don't panic, but don't ignore the signals either.